This is video 2 of a two-part series, I guess. A two-part YouTube series, if you will, regarding shooting projectors on stage to make it look like there are shadows on there, sort of indicating the presence of somebody who's not actually there. The overall premise here is that a shadow is walking around on stage, and there are characters, embodied characters, like actors that you hire and pay and walk around on stage. And they're around on stage and they're casting shadows like they naturally would. But also inhabiting the stage with them are just shadows, which are just sort of voids of light being projected into the space. And they can interact with the space, they can interact with objects in the space if you set it up correctly. Or they can interact with the other actors that are actually on stage. It'll take a lot of very precise choreography and sort of really grueling meticulousness in terms of, you know, when a real character touches a virtual character, or when they make interactions like that. But I think with some theatrics it might be able to be pulled off in a very stunning and provocative way. So let's just imagine that this is a stage. What we got right here is we have a character on a stage. This character is casting a shadow like they normally would be with a theatrical light. But instead of a theatrical light, what's being cast out here is from a projector. It's light from a projector. It would be white light just hitting the stage, not really doing anything else. I was playing around with, I have this thing for Red Hot by Jurassic 5. It's one of my favorite songs. So that's this song right here. And here we are presented with another set. So we have like a sign that's on the ground. We have a bunch of trees over here. It's sort of like a gobo being cut out, cast upon the stage, and now we have a figure walking around on the stage. And I think what would be more compelling, I mean, I can't really show this on this figure, but on this box here, but it would be more compelling if this figure were moving too. The shadows could interact and thereby sort of explain to the audience that that there's a virtual character here. So yeah, I guess let me just take a look, I guess. Of course, to activate a character, as a director, I know that you need to also activate the characters around him. I mean, it's not just action, it's also reaction. So I think one really important thing about fully embodying these shadows of characters is having the actor really buy into it also, the actor that's actually on stage. Right, so this guy walks off stage. You could have this character shake the hands with the other character, and you'll see in a moment. I think this is where they hit their mark. Could be totally wrong. They shake hands. You can push him. I'm going to do it from the other angle just to show you. He's going to walk in and shake his hand. Or he can push him over, or he can get into a fight, or they can get into a dance fight, or they can get into a dance battle or whatever. But also here, you know, with good choreography, I mean, sometimes it doesn't really look like the shadows are jumping, but here it looks pretty good right there. And I think with some technical, with having a different projector, which is covered in the other video, the more technical video, If you have two projectors, you can get a more clear sense that the person is actually jumping. Yeah. So this is a very preliminary sketch, I guess. But I think it has a lot of promise. You could imagine having set pieces that interact with this shadow, so that if this shadow walks into a table, the table could be bumped by an off-camera or by an offstage stagehand who just like pulls on a rope or something, or even possibly like objects can fall, or maybe this character can, you know, flip a light switch upstage, like that's sitting on a wall, and then the lights can go out or something. Because this shadow of a character, you know, they're virtually standing right here, because they are theatrical and because they're completely inside the mechanics of the theater, you can embed them very closely with anything you can think of theatrical. Like they can walk around with treading footsteps. They can, you know, they can speak, and when they speak, their voices are automatically adjusted to do whatever you need to. Also, you can do things that are impossible with the human body. You can, for example, have this body stretch out very far across here, which will look different from a shadow stretching out. The reason being is that if this shadow stretches out and everybody pretends that this virtual person is sort of like is getting twisted and pushed, then I think the message will come across that the virtual person is getting twisted and pushed. Or they can just get really big for no real reason, or really small. A lot of special effects can be theatricalized in very different manners through this method. I'm also interested in casting shadows from the side. So if we were to imagine that, you know, that the light is being hit from side light instead of top light or front light, then this is the stage picture we get as an audience, minus the wall back here. So, you know, the shadow will creep along the floor, sort of stage right. Another possibility too is that if you top light it, so let's say what you're doing is you have, through some manipulations, you might be able to have a decently lit human being on stage with their shadow doing different things than what their body is actually doing. Right? So what you'd have is, you'd have this figure right here, and instead of this shadow, right, you'd have something like that shadow moving and observing different things. Now to imagine that shadow actually comes downstage like this. It'd be through some fake manipulation. And it wouldn't be 100%, but it'd be believable enough, I think, that if this character buys it, and if the people around it buy it, I think the audience is going to be willing to buy something that exciting, something that interesting. Yeah, great. Cool. Well, thank you for checking this out. I'm going to try to put this up in New York City. If you have any ideas, or if you have anything that you want to send me, send it to me. I don't know. Otherwise, check out my blog. My blog is www.fethex.com/blog. I'm definitely posting this there, and I post some interesting other stuff there too. Great.
To bring it to your live, yo, that's what you pay for. With skills much sharper than a Texas chainsaw.